shalom, my friends, shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, here from Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And how delighted and thrilled and excited I am to be talking to a songstress, a warbler, if you will, someone who has been toiling the cabaret vineyards for the past 10 to 15 years. Moved here in New York in 2007 from Syracuse, which is, I don't even know where the hell that is on the map. But now she's in Manhattan, and you can see her at the Don't Tell Mama Club on January 25th? Dave was getting that wrong. What day of the week is that? What the hell is that?
A Thursday.
It's a Thursday. It's a Thursday, January 25th. Get your tickets now. It's called Songs by Strong Women. So she's going to be singing songs by strong women. But she has also won Metropolitan Room Metro Star Challenge, and she's performed at places as diverse as Carnegie Hall, the Algonquin, Birdland, Town Hall, and even the Cafe Carlisle, as well as Lincoln Center. Won't you please welcome to the neighborhood the lovely, the talented Marissa Mulder. Shalom, Marissa!
Hello, Dave. Hello. Thanks for having me.
Can you see the payas? Rabbi Sol. This is, or you may call me Your Eminence. Either one.
Rabbi Sol. I'm so sorry. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
You are most welcome. Most important question before any of the music stuff. Are you Jewish? I doubt that you are.
I am not Jewish.
Damn it. What the hell are you?
I am Catholic.
It's all right. We'll go through the interview anyway. How has being a shiksa influenced your, do you have any religion in your life? Do you celebrate holidays? Did you go to a shiksa school? What?
Well, I went to Catholic school from preschool all the way through 12th grade. But I don't really, I go to church on holidays, Christmas, Easter.
Shoah.
That's about it, really.
Right. But you believe, you have some kind of belief system. You still believe in
music. I do. I have a strong faith. Now, strong spirituality, for sure.
Which basically means that in 10, 20 years, you'll put out a Christmas album like everybody else does. But just, what is your favorite Christmas song? Do you have one?
Well, it's the Christmas song, the chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
So yeah, it's not even a religious thing. It's more of like the wintry feeling of Nat King Cole and having your nuts roasting on the fire is basically a thing.
Sort of. I guess you could say that, yeah.
So let me ask you, what made you give you the guts and the chutzpah to move from Syracuse, snowy, wintry Syracuse, to say, I'm going to Manhattan, I'm going to make it as a singer?
Well, that was always in my mind and in my heart since I was a little kid. And I didn't think about it too much, which is probably what gave me the guts. I didn't analyze it too much. I just did it. That's what I wanted to do. So I came pretty quickly after graduating from college, and it's been quite the journey. I've learned a lot. It hasn't been easy, and moving to New York City from Syracuse was a big leap. It took me a while to find my footing here in the Big Apple.
Well, were you doing the typical thing of trying to, going on chorus calls or things for auditions for Broadway, off Broadway, as well as trying to do cabaret stuff? Or what was like your first year? And did you share like a one studio apartment with 5 other people, that kind of thing?
I shared an apartment with 3 other people in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. It was a 4-bedroom. It was pretty nice, except there were lots of mice, which was a great introduction. So when I first came, yes, I was auditioning for some musical theater, but I was very, it took me a while to really put myself out there. So I was auditioning, but not a ton. And I actually was introduced to the cabaret world by another singer who comes from Syracuse too, Karen Oberlin. And that was a huge gift because she really kind of introduced me to the world of cabaret. I didn't even know it existed. And she would take me to shows at the Algonquin and Feinstein's when that was still there.
How the hell did you
And,
afford? You were living 4-2 apartment. How did you afford to go to Algonquin and Feinstein's?
you know, we would go to the late shows at the Algonquin. I think because I knew Karen, sometimes we were comped, which was really nice. And she introduced me to all these wonderful, legendary cabaret performers, and they were happy to kind of have me as their guest. So not always, but sometimes I did get to skip that cover charge, which helped.
But you still have to tip the waitress and order a drink. Otherwise, you feel bad.
You do. So I don't know. I knew that it was important and it was money worth spending. So I guess I just found a way to do it.
So how do you make that leap to that first time? Maybe not for open mic night, but you put together a cabaret show of your own. When was that? What was that?
Sure. So I moved in 2007. I think I connected with Karen in about 2008. And that's when I started just taking in the cabarets and getting to know some of the people. And I went to a Christmas party for the Manhattan Association of Cabarets and Clubs, the MAC Christmas party. There, I met a piano player named Bill Zeffiro, who I worked with a ton over the years. And he was playing at a French restaurant on 2nd Avenue, which is closed now. And he told me that he was there on Tuesday nights and to come in anytime and I could get up and sing a song with him. So I took him up on that. I started going in on Tuesdays. I would sing a song. The next week, I sang a few songs. And as that progressed, I ended up kind of having my own evening there with Bill, working with Bill. And we did a show called Swinging on a Star. And
Not
it
the
was
Broadway show. So there was a Broadway thing of Jimmy Van Heusen songs called "Swing on a Star."
Yes, well, there was, and I did a Jimmy Van Heusen show, and Jimmy Van Heusen, who also comes from my hometown of Syracuse, New York. So, and Karen Oberlin directed that show. So that was Oh, but you know what? I goofed up. Before that show, I did do a different show at Don't Tell Mama. That was where I did my first show. So I guess it was in 2010, and it was called Lost and Found, a Determined If Ditzy Cabaret Debut. And it was just songs I loved, and it was great. It was my first time doing that. And it was all my friends and family in the crowd. And it was a great first time. I just shared personal stories and just sang a bunch of different songs I loved. And then the show after that was the Jimmy Van Heusen show.
Now, at that point, were you still mostly doing, though, it sounds like for the Van Heusen, it's kind of like Broadway Ting Pang Alley era. But for that first show that you did, were you doing songs more from the 60s, 70s, 80s, which seems like more of the makeup of what you do now?
No, the first show was more of the songbook, more of the standards. I did include a Stephen Sondheim in that show, a Joni Mitchell song. But it was mostly standards, Broadway. And then obviously the Jimmy Van Heusen was all Jimmy Van Heusen. So those first two shows were more of the songbook, more jazz oriented, Broadway.
So when did you start more recently to carve out the niche? Because when you go to a club, it's almost like Sinatra could be singing most of the song, and from that,
Right.
Tony Bennett, not Perry Como, but Dean Martini, that, and before then. But you're like, nah, let me do Joni, let me do Tom Waits, let me do Beatles, let me do Beach Boys.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
So that happened when I was done with, well, actually, I left out another part. I did win a contest that through the Metropolitan Room, which sadly is no more, which was a club I loved to sing at. And they did a Metro Star Challenge where it was, I think it started with 50 singers and it was a weekly competition. And the winner got to do a 4-night run of a show. And they kind of paid for the expenses to produce the show, paid for the musical director's fees. I did end up winning that show. And that again was still more traditional, more songbook and Broadway. And a friend of mine named Lauren Fox, who's also a fellow cabaret performer and actress, she came to that show and we became friendly. And at the time, she was doing a show of all Leonard Cohen and Joni Mitchell music. And it was a really exciting, really well thought out, put together show of kind of exploring their relationship and their music. And I met her and her then boyfriend, her now husband, for coffee. And we were talking about what I wanted to do next. And I said that I wanted to do something a little bit darker, that I had this other side in me that wasn't just all bubbly and smiley. And it was her husband who suggested Tom Waits. And at that time, I didn't even really know who he was, but I went home and I started listening. And the more I listened, I was blown away by his storytelling, his lyrics, his melodies. My dad was a big fan, unbeknownst to me, and he thought it was a great idea. So that's kind of how it began. And she directed
Motorhead.
it.
I would either gone with Motorhead or Gigi Allen. But that's a little bit.
Yeah, well,
a stepping stone toward them. But yeah, Tom Waits, of course, is a magnificent songwriter. Was there one song that you clicked with immediately? That not only this is a great Tom Waits song, but this is a great Tom Waits song for me.
Yeah, when I heard Rainbow Sleeves, when I heard Bette Midler sing Rainbow Sleeves, and I listened to his version. And I thought, wow, this is a really, really good fit. I felt it immediately. And then just some of the other ballads. The ballads are what I love the best. And the show is mostly ballads. It's 14 of his songs and mostly sad songs. And Lauren directed that show. So she was a huge help and really had a great knack for helping to put it together. And so that kind of definitely set me apart.
Let me ask you about putting a cabaret musical show together in terms of the time it takes, how often you have to rehearse. Does the pianist, the musical director, have a fake book with the songs already? Do you have to have them arranged for you and written out? How does that all work?
Yes, well, eventually they're all written for me and arranged for me. The pianists I work with are so incredibly talented, as I'm sure you can imagine. My pianist who played for the Tom Waits show and many of my shows since is John Weber. And he wasn't familiar with any Tom Waits. He knows everything, and he did not know that. So that he did a lot of listening on his own to the original recordings. I did bring him music for that. I found it online. I ordered a songbook online. But yeah, and then we just kind of go through the tune as is. We find the right feel, the right key. And then when we figure out what we want to do with it, then he'll go and write the arrangement out.
Oh, he will, yeah.
But oftentimes with my other shows, like my Lennon and McCartney show, I said, which songs do you need the music for? And he didn't need any of them. So he knew all of them, but he did still end up writing them out because I used a guitar and bass for that show.
Oh.
So then it's wonderful. Then I have these beautiful charts that I can take for, little one-offs here and there, and other pianists can read them. And I pay for those and they become mine, and they're a great asset. So
now, when you said this little, how much of your time are you able to be a full-time musician, or do you have a day job? I mean, how do you support yourself in New York?
Yeah, I have two other jobs besides singing. And one has been as a nanny. I've nannied for several different children over the years. I nannied for a family of 6 kids on the Upper East Side for 8 years.
Wow.
Somehow part-time because the mother didn't work. But all during those 8 years, I was singing, and I've been fortunate enough to get in with families that are flexible and understanding that sometimes I have a gig or I have to leave town. As of late, when the pandemic hit, when performing stopped altogether, I was sort of feeling like I wanted to explore another avenue, something besides just nannying that I could explore. And I ended up getting certified to become a peer advocate for people in recovery. So actually now I work for a program through the New York City Department of Health where we actually respond to patients in the New York City emergency departments who have overdosed on opioids and obviously have survived, which is great. And I go in and I try to ask them what happened and I try to get them to sign up for our program.
Which
So
keeps them off. I mean, what is your program? You say it's an advocacy thing. What
it's an advocacy thing. What it is it's basically a 90-day thing where I'm part-time, so a full-time wellness advocate would follow up with them and basically follow up with them at least once a week for about 90 days and just basically support them wherever they're at, whatever that means for them, whether it means keeping them, up to date on the safety tips they should be using to keep themselves from overdosing, or if they want to go to treatment, if they want medication, we can assist them in all those things. But it's really just to try to prevent this overdose epidemic and
Oh,
keep
I
people.
had a sponsor for a couple of years when I was trying to kick borscht. I was addicted to the red, not the white. Nobody likes the shove and the white, but the
Yeah.
red. The red, 3 times a day. I was just spooning it. I was
So you understand.
I
Yeah.
completely understand. Yes, yes. And I haven't touched borscht. I got my chip. It's been 36 hours. So I'm very.
Wow.
This
Well,
is.
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very. It's a potato chip, and I dip it in the borscht. So no, it's more.
Okay. Well, you know what? That's all right. That's all right.
So
One hour at a time.
what was it like though? You did a birthday special during COVID, or some kind of special during COVID, online on
Yes.
the Zoomy thing. So did that keep your hand in the game? I mean, was her point was that what the hell am I doing? I'm trying to be a cabaret singer in New York, and who the hell knows if there'll be cabaret again? I mean, thinking back
Yes.
years. So
It was so disheartening, but those Facebook shows, I ended up loving them. I ordered one of those special ring lights from Amazon and my piano players were, yes, see, we all have them now and they're great. The birthday show was so much fun. It sounds silly, but there were so many people watching, friends, family, peers in the cabaret world, some people I didn't even really know that well. And what's fun is, as I'm singing, I kind of go right up to the camera and I can read the comments and I can talk back to people. And
that's
it
dangerous when I do it. Believe me, if I
was, is
the
it?
comments that I get is like, yeah.
I can see that. Well, it
Thank
keeps
you,
it
thank you
fun.
very
I mean,
much. I can see that.
it was definitely we like doing it so much that Bill Zeffiro and we do one every Christmas time, a holiday show, still on Facebook Live, and I love doing it. So that helped, and I also I started running a lot during COVID, which was a really healthy thing to do. I could have done many other things besides that, and that helped keep my spirits up. Just getting outside safely and moving, and I did work on a show during COVID, which gave me some purpose and kept me, my spirits up as much as they could be.
Now, was that the show, the Strong Women show that you're doing right now?
No, that was actually John Prine.
Oh my God, John! Like you see, this is a select. This is what I want to hear in cabaret. As much as I love the Chestnuts, as much as I love Rodgers and Hart and Rodgers and Hammerstein and Mister Rogers, I was like, come on, okay, John? What song do you do? Hello in there. What do you do? What song do you?
Yeah, Hello in There. Sam
Oh,
Stone.
that's a funny one. That's hilarious. That's so, no, just kidding.
That's a really a crowd pleaser.
You should sing that to your opioid people. Yeah.
I absolutely should. Boy, does it hit differently now when I sing it. Illegal Smile, Dear Abby,
Boy.
Summer's End. There's so many great ones. And of course, you know, we lost John Prine to COVID right at the beginning, which was so awful. And at that point, I'd only performed Hello in there over the years. I always loved it. But again, I really didn't know a lot of his other material. But my dad, again, was a huge fan. And John Weber, my pianist, was urging me for years to do a whole show. And I thought, let's do it. So
Yeah.
that's when I started putting it together. And yeah, I absolutely love that material. He's, you know, similar to Tom Waits in a way, just such a great storyteller, but so simple, but so profound.
All right. You're not going to get an argument from me. So, but speaking of which, speaking of doing things live and modern songwriters and stuff, tell us a little more, please, about the show that you're going to be doing Thursday night, January 25th at Don't Tell Mama, which is over on West 46th Street and 8th Avenue, by the way. It's called Songs by Strong Women. So who are the strong women that we're talking about here?
Who are the strong women? Well, the strong women are Carole King, Joni Mitchell, Taylor Swift, Alanis Morissette, Tori Amos, who else? Pink, Joan Baez.
These are all, yeah, every single one. I'm waiting to get in there if you have a weak woman, you know, like Sinead O'Connor. It's like,
oh, you know, no,
but not strong though. Yeah.
Sinead was on my list. I love Sinead. I ran out of space. I always run out of room for everything I want to do. It's so hard to narrow it down, you know.
So can I ask what songs by some of these? What Joni Mitchell do you do? No, is it River? Because everybody's River at Christmas, but no.
No, it's not River. It's actually Little Green.
Oh my God,
Little Green.
Yeah.
The song she wrote for her daughter that she gave up for adoption, and that's kind of the theme of the show. You know, I found some really personal anecdotes. I also include Silver Springs by Stevie Nicks, and I learned more about the backstory of that, and Amy Winehouse, just women I really admire that aren't afraid to kind of go there and be vulnerable. And I just am so happy I did it. I mean, a lot of my shows have been all male writers, so this has been something I've been wanting to do for a while. And I loved finding a mix between, you know, some older women and some of the new and upcoming writers, because I think they all have something to really bring to the table.
Oh, absolutely. I'm curious. What Taylor Swift do you cover?
I actually do two of hers. I do a song called Mirror Ball.
Oh, I love that song. That's actually a beautiful song.
It's a great song. And another song called The Last Great American Dynasty, which is
they're
a
both
great
from folklore. They're both from that great.
They're both from folklore, which I thought that's one of my favorite albums of her. I felt like it was such great storytelling. You know, a little less, you know, I don't know if many of those songs went to #1 on the billboards. I mean, there's still great songs, but they're a little bit outside the box.
They're album cuts, what we used to call back in the
and she's such a I really I think she's an incredible songwriter and an amazing storyteller. So I was really excited.
Marissa Mulder sing these songs and others. You're going to go to Don't Tell Mama on Thursday night, January 25th. Get your tickets. Don't miss it. Do not miss seeing her. By the way, let me ask you. You talked about when you first started, the first getting your feet wet. What are some specific things that you learned from watching other cabaret singers, like some of the legends that you got to see? We're talking now, 15 years ago. So you might have seen Julie Wilson, you might have seen maybe she stopped performing by then. But you know what I'm saying? Like, who did you see and what did you learn from them?
Yeah. Well, I saw Steve Ross at the Algonquin, and I always found him to be, he just always really transported me and had such a respect and love for those songs. I always felt like I was in such good hands. And again, an incredible storyteller, very subtle. It never felt like it was about him, but it was about the story he was telling in the songs. And I loved his piano playing. So that was someone that really inspired me. And Andrea Marcovici was another one at the Algonquin, where she would literally come up to each table and sing lines of songs directly into your eyes. It was so powerful. That really left an impression on me. Maud Maggart is another person that I really excited me sort of as a younger person. I saw a lot of myself in her and the material she was choosing. And I thought she just had she does have a really haunting, still quality with an incredibly unique sound that, you close your eyes and there's no mistaking that it's her.
She's got a high trill vibrato thing. By the way, the three people you mentioned that people are interested have all been on this program. So if you want to watch,
I'd love to.
Maud Maggart. I mean, they're all audio because it was radio back in the day. But Maggart, the guy you mentioned from the Cole Porter show,
Steve Ross,
and see, I don't remember anything anymore.
Andrea Marcovici. That's okay.
Yes, they're all been in the neighborhood. We're just, I'm just bragging. I'm just boasting.
No, that's fantastic. I love them so much. And Julie Wilson, I never got to see her do a whole show, but I did win. I was so humbled to win the Julie Wilson Award. And so she presented that to me, and she sang before I went on stage. She sang, But Beautiful. And I got to go to a couple dinner parties with her, and she was just extraordinary. And she said to me, towards the end, she was so disheartened that she couldn't sing anymore, but she grabbed my hand and she said, "You make sure that your audience understands every single word that you are singing." And that really, I just was so touched by that, because that's what she did. Such feeling, so much heart and soul in every note. Great interpreter. I loved her.
Can I ask you, we're talking with Marissa Mulder here. What was the first record that you went and bought? Actually, you're young enough, it would have been probably a CD already or a download, but what, like when you were old enough to have allowance money, your own money, what 45 or single or album was the first one that you bought with your own cash, if you will?
I'm trying to think. I think, it's going to sound funny. I listened to a lot of the standards with my grandfather, but I didn't go out and buy my own CD of those because they were kind of around my grandparents' house. I think one of the first albums I bought was Alanis Morissette.
Jagged Little Pill, when that was...
Yeah, and she's in my Strong Women show, and I love her.
So, did you see the Broadway musical? It was quite good.
No, and I'm sorry I didn't, because I heard it was wonderful.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. And let me a couple more questions with the delightful, the lovely Marissa Mulder. Let me also ask you, are there some favorite songs of yours that you love but are not in your range, that you would listen to all the time and you wish you could sing, but they're just not for you? They're not in your vocal range.
That's a great question.
Thank you.
Well, I don't have a big belty voice, and it's just not who I am. So I don't try to be that, because it's not what I'm working with. So some of those songs, like like Nothing Compares to You, Sinead's when she gets really big, maybe that's one. I don't know, some of those big Broadway numbers, I love hearing them. I love when belters, I don't like when people are just singing big just to sing big, but when it comes from a place and it has emotion backed with that big sound. So any of those Broadway legends or Celine Dion songs, maybe.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I love those. I would have to sing them differently without as much of the powerful chest voice belt.
Because you know, I'll sometimes sing "I Will Go On," and my wife will go, "And you will go on and on and on," and I'm like, "Ha ha, ha damn it!" But
Yeah.
speaking, have you ever, since you've been performing now for a while, have you ever had wild moments in the audience where someone, you know, said something stupid or had a heart attack or something funny happened or something fell, piece of lighting equipment fell near you? What happened on stage?
Yes, I have. I've had some interesting moments. You know, just a couple times when people were very, very chatty, very chatty during very quiet moments, quiet ballads. Most of the time, I've been able to somehow learn to just stay focused and ignore them. Sometimes, if the situation warrants, I think I am pretty good at thinking on my feet, so I can make a joke. There was one time it was very early on when I was starting out. I was asked to sing at the Dutch Treat Club, which is it's a luncheon they do every Tuesday at the Players Club in Gramercy. And they have performers every Tuesday. There's a lot of cabaret people involved, but they invite like authors and all kinds of people that come in and speak, and they have a very fancy lunch. It's not what I'm usually doing on a Tuesday, but I
They've
I
never
was there.
invited me, I'll tell you that.
Well, I was
I'm not
there
kosher.
around Valentine's, and this man who was very well known there, um, he got up during my song and was doing this really funny dancing. He was kind of a ham. And so instead of just acting, I said, "Would you be my Valentine?" During the middle of my song. And I think it kind of quieted him down because I don't know, I think he was kind of used to sort of doing whatever he liked, and he was very well known, and it was kind of distracting because I wasn't singing a song that really was a dancey type number. So that kind of took him out of himself, I think. But I did it in it wasn't mean. I just incorporated it into my number. Another time I was doing my Tom Waits show outside in the Thousand Islands, which was very peculiar. And a dog came up and sat right next to me during the song Day After Tomorrow, which is a
Oh,
very heavy song about a soldier wanting to come home from war. So that was kind of odd, but I tried to I don't know, maybe the dog felt something or was called to come up and sit by me. I try to go with the flow, and if it allows, I try to have fun with it because I
yeah,
find
I
that
can
those
understand the dog coming if you're doing something from Bone Machine. The dog goes, Bone! And he's like,
right.
yeah, but no, but
But
during,
it wasn't. It was a dramatic moment, so it was a little silly, but I like those moments though. I mean, unless the person's really obnoxious. I like those moments where I can sort of hone my skills of just, being quick on my feet. And it reminds me that we're just here in this moment. You can practice and practice, but it doesn't really matter when you're up there. It's in the here and now, and things happen, and that's what keeps it interesting and real.
it says, and we are being interesting and real and in the moment with the lovely Marissa Mulder. And you can be in the moment with her, but don't get up and dance. Don't annoy. Don't be talking. Don't be looking at your stupid cell phone. By the way, which do you get that also, where people are just like, or recording
Yes.
even, or that's kind
Yeah, and it can be disheartening, but I also know that, yeah, I just try to move along to another face. And sometimes you'll see somebody and they look bored to death, but then after the show they're saying how much they loved it. So you just don't know. You don't know what people are going through. You don't know what the situation is. So I don't know. I'm not at the stage where Patti LuPone is, so I try not to shout at everybody.
of.
Maybe if I was a Tony winner, I'd do that, but
This so happened. I was giving a sermon, and this woman in the second row was looking daggers at me, though, just like, giving me like the evil eye and the whole thing. And then afterwards, I was just not going. I said, "What? What?" She said, "Oh, I loved your sermon. I was just, and I made me so sorry. I smacked her. I shouldn't have done that." But
isn't that funny though? Is sometimes
it
we
does.
interpret it wrong. We interpret it the wrong way. So that's been a cool lesson to learn. And sometimes people really are bored, and that's okay too. It's not going to kill me because somebody else is having a great time. So.
And not only if they're boys, oh, it's Tom Waits' fault. This song isn't
Yeah.
the best. I'm doing a great job, but the song, Rainbow Shoes goes on for a while. Day after tomorrow, 7 minutes long.
And as a lot, some people, it really was not their cup of tea. It was a very different thing to do. It kind of ruffled some feathers a little bit. Some people
Kentucky Avenue, by the way, I don't know if that's on your album.
Oh no, but that's one of the first songs I listened to, and that broke my heart. I love that song.
Well,
maybe in part 2.
Maybe. Well, how can people still get the album because you have a Tom Waits album called In His Words that is available.
Yeah.
Where? How?
On Spotify, on iTunes, on Amazon, I believe.
Some of the usual places they can get Marissa Mulder doing the Tom Waits album, even though Waits is not one of these strong women that she will be singing about, even if he has an operation. She is going to be singing things by Alanis Morissette and Taylor Swift and Joni Mitchell and who else? Is Mama Cass in there?
Yeah. No, Joan Baez is in there.
Yeah.
And who else? Sarah Bareilles.
Oh, yeah.
And Carole King.
Right.
Amy Winehouse.
Hey, who's the most famous person who ever came to your show or you saw in the audience and was like, who?
Well, it was Angela Lansbury.
When?
And it was I did a show about Marilyn Monroe, which was very much more of a theater piece, directed by a Broadway baby named Sandra Lee. Sandra Lee, who was the original Tiger Lily in Peter Pan on Broadway, and was in the film, who is now 95. She'll be mad at me for saying that, but she is.
She doesn't look a day over 93. It's fine. Yeah.
She's incredible. I think she's in Paris now. She went to Paris by herself to visit a friend, and she directed that show. She actually studied with Marilyn Monroe when they were both in
house
with what's the big with the Strasbergs.
Meisner maybe, or one of those, or
yes, and
yeah. Wow.
And so she is I had no idea, but Angela Lansbury is a friend of Sandra's, and Sandra must have invited her, and she came to the Laurie Beachman Theater, and I was back.
She looked at her cell phone the whole time.
She didn't. She was so lovely, but I was. It's a funny story. I was backstage. I get kind of neurotic before my shows. I'm not very calm. I get my anxiety is through the roof, and when I get up there, that's when I feel settled. But it's the hours leading up. I just, I get some of it's healthy. Who knows? It's just how I operate. I was texting with my mother minutes before the show saying, I'm feeling off. And she said, well, you better get it together because Angela Lansbury's here.
How did she know she was in the audience? Or she was literally in the audience texting you were backstage. Holy crap.
Yeah, which when I told Sandra that, Sandra was very angry that I found out, because she thought maybe it tripped me up. It really didn't. I was in a state of shock, but anywho.
It tripped you up more if you come out there, started doing the show, and cabarets aren't so dark that you can't. It's not like a theater where you can kind of see in a small theater who's in the audience. Would you have been?
It might have. I don't even know. But either way, I guess that's the way it was supposed to go. I found out, and she said some lovely things, and she was so kind. And that was incredible. So that was the most famous person to ever come see me.
So for all you know, Biden might show up at some point. Michelle Obama could turn up.
That'd be great.
It's who knows? Muhammad Ali could. Well, no, he wouldn't at this point. Really unlikely. But we've been talking with the lovely, the delightful Marissa Mulder, whom you can see.
volume. They can't hear you.
They can't hear me.
Oh,
Something about you've been hearing me. You've had no problem, have you, or have you?
I have been hearing you. Can they hear me? Is it me?
Yeah, everybody can hear you fine. I don't know what the hell's wrong with my stupid.
Guest, but they want you to speak louder.
All right, I'm gonna have to scream now. So,
Okay.
Did they ask any questions? No, I told them about my borscht addiction.
No, they said they love your guest, but they want your volume higher, and they love the show, and they love the guest.
They love the show. They love the guest. I don't know what I can do about the damn volume. It's been a problem for the last couple of weeks. So I apologize to all of you for that. And I apologize. Well, Marissa, at least you've heard me, and we've heard you. I wish we could get you a copyright thing. We would probably be cut off by Facebook. How do you deal with that when you sing, when you do your Zoom concerts live on Facebook? You don't have a problem. You sing and then you don't get a message saying, copyright naughty BMI.
I don't. So I hope I don't start. I mean, obviously for my albums, I've gotten all the, I've paid for the copyright and the rights to do those. But as far as the Facebook shows, no, I don't know.
I think I
hope it's all right.
It must be anti-Semitism. They hate me. They hate my. I don't know what it is. But anyway, the last question for Marissa Mulder, whom you let me shout it so everybody can hear. Whom you can see Thursday, January 25th at Don't Tell Mama, 343 West 46th Street. It's off between 8th and 9th Avenue there, somewhere in New York. Songs by strong women. Now let me ask you. You seem to be living in a nice, lovely, it's like a Brooklyn apartment. Are you married? Are you kids? Do you thinking kids? What's your deal? Are you? I don't know where you are. What's your thing?
Well, I live in Astoria, Queens. In a studio, which I love. I used to live on the 4th floor of this same building in a 2-bedroom with a good friend, just a good friend of mine who moved to Florida. So
she must be Jewish. No, yes, sir.
Right. Well, it's a he, actually, a good friend, a performer who now works in the casting department for Royal Caribbean cruise ships. I'm so happy for him. He found a way he was trying to do the performing thing for years, and it was just wearing him down. So anywho, they let me move into the studio, and I love it. It's tiny, but it's so cute, and it's an old building. Just the other night I had rainwater coming inside, so it's not perfect, but I'm still here. And no, I am single. I have not had the best luck with men.
You're in theater and cabaret. Did they all turn out to be gay? I mean, what was the?
One of them did. The others just, that I don't know. It's like they come on very strong, and then when things start getting real, they're gone in a flash. So, it helps me make good shows. I mean, I can continue singing these really sad songs. But I hope at some point somebody sticks around. That would be nice,
Well, I mean, for the sake of your art, I would wish you more heartbreak, but no, I want you to have love and good things in your life, and then you could sing the occasional happy song.
It would be nice to sing a happy song and really feel it. No, but I'm a happy person. I just am trying to, I love children. I love them. So I don't know. It's not to get super personal. I don't know if that's in the cards for me, because I am getting old.
What are you 32? What are you, old?
38 years old.
But you're over the hill. Oh, just kidding. I'm kidding.
I am kind of, but I'm still
the engineering parts are not gonna. But it doesn't. Come on, you got 50 more years in the cabaret world. That's
right.
Yeah. So
that's the beauty of cabaret. We're like, we get better with time, right? I can, if I take care of this, I can be doing it hopefully for a very long time. And
do you have a coach? Yeah. Do you do exercises? Do you protect your do stuff to what? What do you do?
I do. Well, I do. I don't take lessons anymore, but I have some great exercises I do, and I take pretty good care of myself. I used to drink the occasional alcohol, which is fine, but I don't do that anymore. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke anything. I'm a runner. Running has really helped my voice. It has helped my breathing and my lung power. So I find just like yoga and running, moving my body and just taking good care of myself is the best gift for my voice. And I've noticed a huge difference since I stopped drinking alcohol. Just to get candid, I don't do it anymore. That was a good choice for me. So
Interesting, because what was wrong with it? Dry up the throat, or what is alcohol?
yeah,
You know how much
it
you're
did
drinking.
seem.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, occasionally I would have too much, which wasn't good, and
That
I
explains
think
some of the men. All right, yeah.
yeah, it does explain some of them. Not all, but some of them. But no, it would dry my voice out, and it would just even just it would disrupt my sleep and I don't know, make me feel anxious. I'm already a very sensitive person. I don't really need anything else to kind of bring me down a notch. So I think I'm good just with some tea or maybe a Shirley Temple if I want to go crazy.
Wow, wow. Only on New Year's and maybe Hanukkah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
special occasions.
Well, it has been a delightful special occasion for us in the neighborhood chatting with Marissa Mulder. Get her album, Tom Waits in His Words, and go see her at Don't Tell Mama Thursday night, January 25th. Don't Tell Mama on West 46th Street. Marissa, I'm gonna take a chance. Can you sing just a line or two or three before Facebook kills us of some song from the Strong Women show, or any song you really want to sing, just to take us out? And we thank you, by the way, for being so wonderful and delightful in the neighborhood.
Sure. Let's see. What should I do?
Oh, I don't know what. Any.
Okay,
Yeah, please.
I'll do some Joan Baez.
Sure.
Well, I'll be damned. Here comes your ghost again. But that's not unusual. It's just that the moon is full and you happen to call. And here I sit, hand on the telephone, hearing a voice I'd known a couple of light years ago, heading straight for a fall.
I'd love to hear more of the Bob Dylan, Joan Baez song there, but we better not. It's not only that when we're live they might get cut off, but we archive the program and then YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
hopefully it'll let us get through. What was the name of that song? It's Diamonds and Rust. That was
Diamonds and Rust about Bob Dylan. Well, yeah.
Are you doing any Dylan songs at your next shows?
Maybe. I love Bob Dylan. Maybe I will. Yes. I'm going to just say yeah.
We will look out. By the way, do you have a website where people should know?
Yes. It's just my first and last name, MARISSAMULDER.com.
Marissa with two S's, one R. Marissa Mulder, like X-Files.
Like Xfiles.com.
Marissa Mulder, what to you? Success, love, happiness, even if you don't find love. Just happiness, good things, but enough misery that you keep finding sad songs to sing to.
That's right. Thank you so much, Rabbi.
Good Shabbos to you. Have a great one. Shalom.
Shalom. Thank you.